Last night I pulled up some old videos with Winston So So just to see him bounce and jump on one foot and thing. This fellow was a performer, man. I tell ya, was a performer. And the suits, you would never see him come on stage in no short pants or no nothing. I tell you what, this fella was just amazing, man. But I'll be getting some interesting voices this morning. I reached out to quite a lot of people. But I tell you, it's an amazing thing. There's a boy, like talk on radio now, man. So. But there's one individual who not afraid nobody. He love radio. He's always out there. My good friend Bryan Alexander, he should be the first one to come in. I'm hoping I can hear from Willis Williams also. But let's hope we have Bryan on right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Donnie.
Indeed. Good morning, Bryan. How are you?
Well, kind of sad here.
Yeah.
I know what I'm calling about is the death of a legend, Winston So So. The whole country is sad and mourning for one of the icons of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I don't want to go on prattling. I don't know if you want to ask me something or if you want to continue to talk.
Well, I really want to hear about his impact on the music, because I'm not as close to him as you guys were. May not even be close to the music other than playing it. So you may have a different insight as to the impact of the music of his age. At that time, it was live bands, live performances, and he was one of the best. So perhaps you could give us an insight around that.
Oh yes, well I hope you didn't have anybody else that song repetitious, so talking over the same thing. But whoever know Winston will say the same thing that I'm saying too. And I know he started in Paws Avenue with people like Patches and so. And Patches and him, they travel the same path musically. Those two, Patches and Winston So So, had almost the same impact on our music industry in Grenada. They were both in bands. Winston So So was in Climax, which is a band led by Bonnie Brown, who was the brother of Mike Brown, who was the politician here in St. Vincent, I think the Minister of Education. And they had this band. But if later on we fast forward and his friends would have envisaged that So would have been singing calypso, they would have been very, very surprised. Because seeing that he came from a kind of soulful background where they were singing songs like from Wilson Pickett and Sam Cooke and these soulful people, even Brown, what's the guy's name? Okay, anyhow. Yes, and so he started from this funky kind of a soul thing, and later on, because he went in bands, was exposed to faster songs, and later on he developed into a Calypsonian, surprisingly. And I don't know if much people are, it was said here already, that he was the first soca monarch in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah.
And that was a soca monarch that was organized by the Calypso Association. The first people to do soca monarch was the Calypso Association in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Later on, Benji Carter took it over and made it, expanded it to bringing in the artists from overseas, etc. But Winston So So had an impact in that he changed single-handedly, well, with the help from people like Patches. He changed the outlook on calypso and soca, and sometimes you didn't even know what they were singing, if it was calypso, soca, because the mix was so close sometimes. Now, if his first hit, which was from the band Climax, if you listen to it, and if you could dig it up and play it for your listeners this morning, you'll see what I'm saying is true. Diane is a song that he sang for us that made some impact in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And tell me if you could really check the genre of that, really. I would think it's a fast soul song, but sweet. You can dance it, Diane, and the way his phrases were Never before we were having people who singing notes as long as him. Like, Ryan, it's a long note. Calypso was more abrupt, like, whoop, you hit it like quarter notes, half notes. But he and Patches were doing like longer notes, and they were putting sex in the calypso and soca. When I say sex, they were making it sexier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
More passion. Sorry for saying sex by itself. Sexier is what I wanted.
Okay, good.
And so his song.
Because when you said sex, I was wondering if you meant making it kind of smutty, you know.
No, yes, I made an error there. Right. I want to apologize to your listeners. I wanted to say sexier, sexy, you know, and so even with his social commentary, he was sexy too, because look at it, too much corruption, and although he was hitting the government at that time, he was hitting them with a soft glove. He wasn't hitting them hard because the notes he was making weren't harsh, not passionate, you know. It was really nice. Then he went on to things like I Don't Mind, which is in the Caribbean an anthem.
Still one of the biggest songs, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and Big Bottom, and to say that his death shocked me, and because of what happened before, there was some rumor that he died before, you know, and so it kind of prepared you for what you're going to hear later on, that he actually died. So the shock wasn't that terrible, you know. We knew it was going to happen because somebody had started some fake news that he had died before. So we started delving into what's wrong with SoSo, and we heard that he was very, very ill. And it's very sad, very, very sad in St. Vincent that we are losing so much of our stars.
What was your relationship with him like though? Like one-on-one, like you and the rest of the band Touch and SoSo?
Well, Touch, we backed him in a couple shows already, and you all know SoSo. SoSo is a very friendly person. A little on the quiet side. You have to pull him out to actually talk and so. But he gets on very well with everybody. And, you know, to play with Touch, right? Touch have a voice of their own. Even if he had arrangements, Willis and the other guys going to tweak his arrangement a little bit different than what Frankie would have done. And he never had no growls with it. Certain musicians, certain singers, I could name a couple, but I wouldn't do that now.
Please.
So if he what do you say?
I said, please don't.
Yeah, certain singers, if you touch the music, they'll be looking back to see what he playing there. But SoSo had given you a free will. You could have done what you want. Once you were in the chord structure, and he could have sang, he will continue. In fact, he would sing the song a little different if you were playing different music behind him. So he was a very pleasant person to get along with. I always meet in the road and say hello. I've never seen that guy with a frown. I have never, and well, I just get everybody vexed. I didn't have the ability to do so.
A big question, though. A big question. Because we have seen music in St. Vincent and the Grenadines change and evolve. We know his contribution. But was he pivotal in making a lot of things change musically here? Because Raga Soca, we know the argument with that as to where it started, how it started, who it started with. What kind of impact his music made?
Well, of course, SoSo has been right up there for the change and the crossover from Calypso to Raga Soca and Soca to Raga Soca, and even from Soca to Power Soca too. Because if you notice, although SoSo was singing sexier than others, his like beats per minute was way up there. Some of those songs SoSo was singing as an older guy. I mean, we don't look to people like me and SoSo and whoever to sing songs behind a rhythm that is like 150. SoSo had already reached there. He was up there already. And he had made a contribution. A lot of people are claiming the Raga Soca thing. It's very, very difficult. because around the same time, everybody was trying to branch out. Beckett with a song Marijuana. That song that was that started a trend too. Also, a group from Paul's Avenue sang another song. I can't remember it. But anyway, the trend was happening. But So, like I said, I'm going to use the word sexy again. So put in the sexiness in our soca and made a contribution to Raga Soca. If you listen to Gideon James of Touch, he might know, but some of his phrases pattern straight off of SoSo. And we do these things and we don't even really know we are doing them because we are listening to people and adapt them, but maybe not willfully. I sure Gideon might feel a little peeved that I would say something like that. But we learn from each other. I mean, the matter of grabbing grabbing the thought that you are the one who create this and create that is not so nice because everybody influence everybody, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. But SoSo was way up there and nobody can never tell me or argue with me that he wasn't the one who smoothed out, made it, I can't keep on using this word sexier, make our calypso, soca and whatever the crossover, the phraseology this man had was different than everyone. So he did do something about creating a different genre. As to whether he was the engineer behind it, because it's very difficult, because I think Mr. McIntosh was his arranger and Climax also at first, you know. So it's very difficult, Donnie, to say who is the person who could lay claim on certain things in St. Vincent.
All right. His writing was amazing. His music, well, we know Frankie. Once Frankie on that, we know the arrangement will be sweet. His voice, amazing. But his stage presence was something else too.
Yes, he had his stage presence. I might want to surprise you and your listener may be mad at me. He wasn't such a great dancer. He did try. But his stage presence in that he had feeling, he moved with the music and so. And his singing really was the thing that really captivated you, you know. I wouldn't really want to say too much that he was, the stage presence was, yes.
But here's where I'm going. You know, some artists will come on stage looking all how. This guy was always outstanding when he stepped out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. But he came from the soul era, you know.
Yeah.
He was doing, if you notice Patches, he does the same thing. He don't go on stage dressing Baga Shaka, and I know you all wouldn't remember that word. Baga Shaka.
Yeah.
On stage, well dressed. And it is soul styles, and so he had adapted from people like Winston Pickett, Sam Cooke, and all those Otis Redding. These guys live that sort of music, and it is very hard for them to move away from it, even when they were singing soca and calypso. You know, these guys are immaculately dressed. Beckett is like that. So Beckett don't go on stage half dressed. These people are from the old school. But I want to add something here. What is very sad is that these people are going home, right? They are gone, some of them. But we have people amongst us too also who's maybe I have to say in SoSo's case, nearly as talented that we can use up to train these people nowadays are coming up who think they can sing and who think they have it all. And I don't know if SoSo or whoever who went before him done that, you know. That is a sad thing because we can't let go of that kind of standard. Because we do that, then St. Vincent music will be nowhere. I mean, Winston So So. Can you just imagine a young Winston So So coming up with his sort of musical ingredients, I'll have to say.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be amazing because So Vincentian artists, really, you don't hear them out in Trinidad. For you to have a song in Trinidad, you have to be really good. So did that. Beckett did that. Skinny Fabulous did that. And a lot of other people did that. We have to continue doing that. And we have to have a succession where people would take over from that, you know.
So we need to tap into guys like Patches before they leave.
I was going to say that, but
and tap into people like Beckett before we lose them.
Yes, and Beckett. Oh, Beckett is a great guy here, and I don't know if we do that in St. Vincent, where we go and tap into people, or even listen to the records. Start by listening to the records, and that could help you. Everybody, every person on earth who's a musician, listen to another musician, and sometimes they not copy, they just somehow something rub off on you. And people might say, but how Gideon song like so? It's not that he intended, his intention to be like so, but it's that he's listened to something and it's good and it captivates him and he say, well, boy, these are the phrases I would like to sing to myself, you know. Yeah. So we really will miss So. Trust me. And I ain't see a So coming up right now, and that is a scary thing.
Well, let's hope that we immortalize his name in something musical. So not just that his music will live on, but his very presence, his name, what he stood for, will also live on. Yes,
I agree with you. Well put, Donnie. That's it. I can't add anything at most.
Yeah.
That's part. And when they're alive too, well, we always say this set phrase: when people are alive, we show more, give them more honor, you know, and show them how valuable they are. Perhaps if So was going home and he knew he was going out with that sort of thought left and out about him, he would have been happier, maybe.
Oh.
Serious.
We're walking in some gray areas there. I ain't gonna know much about that. But I want to thank you for making the time. Somebody was asking me here what year he sang Diane. I don't know if you might remember that.
Diane, I think Diane was in 1974 or 5, something like that. Could be around. Maybe go right up to 8, perhaps.
I just born, so I can't tell you anything about that.
Yes, I know. Your daddy was wrong. He was a great musician. Do you ever talk about him?
Yeah.
Drummer and very good vocalist.
Yeah.
Played in the same band with me.
Yep.
But this is about So today.
Yeah, So there's So time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That was Bryan Alexander from the band Touch. I know it's interesting to hear Bryan say that So couldn't dance. The one man in Touch who couldn't dance at all and still can dance is Bryan Alexander. And he picking on So. I see So up on 1 foot all kind of thing carrying on the stage. You tell him So can't dance. Bryan, go by your business. But outside of that, man, he was right about one thing. Any young artist coming up, go find some So videos and listen to some So songs and start to think along the line that, boy, if I could do something, not copy the man exactly, although imitation is the best form of flattery. If you could be that outstanding, try to be something impactful like that. Yeah, you're on your way. Because it was interesting to hear him say that Gideon James basically molded himself off of So. And anybody know Gideon? Gideon is putting that same kind of soul and sweetness into his singing. And he became very outstanding, one of St. Vincent's most outstanding singers. So let's hear another voice. Let's bring in our good friend, Uncle Willis. Good morning.
Hey, Donnie, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Well, you know, it's strategic that I had Bryan call first.
So that he gonna take all the talk.
After Bryan, there's nothing else to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this is not my modus operandi. I don't do this normally, but for Winston So, you know, we have to pay respect.
Yes.
To a man to respect is due. Winston is one. He was one of the coolest guys I knew. Didn't know him. It wasn't a bosom buddy, but whenever we met, it was just respect and good times, good comments. He always complimented me as I had to compliment him on his many successes and the great things that he was doing. He was a man who created a lot of things. But I think alluded to it. But Winston was novel in his own way. And I don't know that Gideon really fashioned himself off of Winston, in as much as they both did the same type of things, and they both had the same interest in pronunciation. And if you're interested in pronunciation, you tend to take some time to get the words to come out and so on. And that is what made it smooth, and that is what made it, according to Bryan, emotional or sexy in this thing. But two men, of course, you won't find Gideon singing the fastest song, because he may have to compromise on his pronunciation. He was a man of diction, and I think SoSo started that when you didn't hear a song that Winston sang that you didn't understand the words. You didn't have, if you had to write out his lyrics, as a lot of us had to do in the early days. When you're going to do a song, you have to write the lyrics out to make sure you got it right. You never had to listen twice. Diction, pronunciation. And while we speak about SoSo, and we can't forget that he too benefited from the genius of Frankie McIntosh, who did a lot of work to shape what came out of stuff. So just like Beckett, I don't think any of them would be where they were without the input of Frankie. And it's sad that we don't do these things before people pass on. But Winston was a great man. Always a happy man. Quiet, as Bryan said, but impactful. Always had real, solid, instructive conversations with you, and always concerned about your well-being and so on. And a man of multiple talent. He was a footballer. I understand he was a tailor. It's typical of great musicians. They're usually
multi-talented.
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to add my piece and to sympathize with his family and friends and fans.
Yes.
And generally the whole of St. Vincent and the Caribbean, who would be mourning his demise at this time. We had some good times together. Touch. He was one of our favorite artists, because he was no trouble at all. He was an easy man to get along with. His music was easy to play, not simple, but quite clever and understandable. It was well structured, and I think we both, the band Touch and him, we enjoyed a very, very good relationship. Yeah. So Donnie, that's it from me.
Thank you.
All right. Unless you have questions.
Well, as you said, when Bryan done, you don't really leave nothing. So.
That's it, and that was the idea.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
Have a good day, guys.
All right.